now as the house lights darken, the orchestra descends into the pit. And slowly the curtain rises to disclose a stunning stage setting dominated by a huge replica of the hero of the evening, the Academy Oscar. And just in front of it, a whole table full of those coveted awards. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, Mr. Charles Brackett.
Ladies and gentlemen, at any official meeting this year, whether it be of Big Steel or the Girdle Trust, it is customary to take a glance at the half-century's development in the field of endeavor of those convening. In the case of motion pictures, I find the temptation to do so irresistible. Our medium, the newsreel part of it, has caught and preserved the 50 years with accuracy and impersonality. Because of the evidence in film vaults, no one can ever picture the epoch in pretty stylized terms, such as surround 18th century England, or the Currier and Ives America of 100 years ago. We are not celebrated, as was an era of France, in great majestic tapestries. We are there on celluloid, looking rather funny to the eye of posterity. Funny, but human and understandable. I hope posterity will study us quite a lot. What about the other aspect of our medium? How have we developed as an art? 50 years ago, the highest emotion moving pictures could evoke in an audience was terror at the charge of an onrushing train. In contrast, examine the product of the year we have under consideration tonight. The 5 nominated pictures nominated by our members explore a stunning variety of subjects. A, an aspect of the American political scene. B, the recent war from 2 different angles. C, a delicate psychological study from the pen of a great American novelist. D, a cross-section of an American suburb, observed with contemporary wit and accuracy. In addition, and occurring frequently on our nominations lists, are 4 fine pictures dealing in high compassion with the problems of our Negro citizens. This is long and honorable progress. Scrutiny of the 22 years of Academy nominations bears out this theory of the maturing screen and the maturing appetites of picture audiences. Not that the fun and nonsense which is an essential part of show business is being neglected. No year which boasted I Was a Male War Bride and a musical as exuberant as On the Town can be accused of being unduly solemn. I emphasize the consideration of graver matters because we live in a time when our civilization, if it is to survive, must survive through some grave exaltation of the human spirit, some kinder and wiser doctrine than the other side of the world can show. For that spirit, for that doctrine, may motion pictures be a strong and dedicated instrument. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce as our master of ceremonies tonight the man who shouldered his way into the affection of the picture public as the richly human mug in A Letter to 3 Wives, Mr. Paul Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett. Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. When the Board of Governors of the Academy were looking for what they call a fresh and exciting new personality to MC this show, everyone at the meeting yelled out in unison, "Get Douglas." Well, we all know how busy Kirk is, you see. This is my first Academy show. I'm a stranger here, so I'll handle the pitch the best way I can. Now, in past years, when I listened to the show, I always wished they'd tell us something about, how it all works, about nobody knowing who the winners are until the envelopes are opened right here on the stage. Well, I've been briefed. The envelopes are sealed and brought to us from the auditing firm of Price Waterhouse, where the returns have been properly counted and certified. 12,000 people took part in the voting this year. The nominations for distinguished achievement were made by the members of the Academy branches, assisted by the Hollywood Guilds. The final selections were voted by the 1,893 members of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. However, one of the reasons I never quite believed that nobody knew the winners beforehand is the fact that the orchestra always plays exactly the right piece of music a split second after the winner's name is called. Well, it's true. Now, I'd like to report a bit of personal investigation. I snooped. I found out all about it. The conductor, Robert Emmett Dolan, and his musicians have 134 pieces of music in their books, one for every nomination in each category. As the nominations are read for each award, the musicians have all the appropriate music fanned out on their racks. When the winner is announced, the conductor gives the downbeat in exactly the time it takes the musicians to grab the right music. That's all there is to it, really. Now, a word, if I may, to the potential winners. A word. Speeches. Mr. Robert Montgomery touched on this point last year. Mr. Montgomery, an eminent actor, good dresser, nice fella. Well, you see, it's the custom with nice people that when something good happens to them, they like to thank everyone who had anything to do with bringing it about. Well, this, of course, is true. However, all of us know the teamwork that must go into a fine picture. So right here and now, on behalf of the winners, permit me to thank your cameraman, your writer, your director, your hairdresser, your front office, your makeup man, your grip, and your producer. And, if I may, we'll also assume that without your mother, the whole thing might not have been possible. So if it's all right with you, we'll adopt a sort of loose rule. You just thank your lucky stars, the voters, and no one else, please.